Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Far Above Rubies today. As we continue our walk through this series on miracles, we're talking about the miracle of turning water into wine. Your reading challenge for today is going to be John chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. We're going to read verses 4 and 5 together, and they say this. "Dear woman, that is not our problem," Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." But his mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you. Do whatever he tells you." Mary and Jesus have been invited to this wedding, and they are guests of the family, and there's a problem that arises. The problem is small, seemingly so, yet it is still a problem. It's a problem for the family's reputation. It's a problem for how they are viewed among their friends and those who have been invited to this wedding. They have run out of wine, and in their culture at that time, this would have been a shame upon them. It would have spoke to their lack of finances. It would have spoke to their lack of reputation. And while some would have seen this as no big deal, and we often look at it in that light today, it would have been a very serious problem for them. There was a need, and the reputation was on the line. And in this moment, I think this is so much more profound than we have ever given this story credit for. In this moment, a woman who knew that Jesus was capable of anything moved the needle on God's divine plan. Jesus looks at his mother when she says, "You need to do something about this," and he says, "This is not our problem." He says, "My time has not yet come." He's saying the time for my ministry to start, the time for me to start performing miracles and signs and wonders has not yet come. He says, "Hold up, Mom. It's not time yet." And like any good mother, she ignored what he said, and she looked at the servants and says, "Whatever he says to do, you do it." You see, she knew Jesus. She spent time with him daily. She knew him intimately. It wasn't just, "Oh yeah, I know Jesus." She knew who he was. She knew what he was. She knew he was not just another guy. She knew he was the Son of God. She knew he was God robed in flesh, like John chapter 1 tells us, because she knew him intimately. She had relationship with him, and because of that, this woman, her faith, moved the needle on God's divine plan. She changed, she shifted the time frame on God's divine plan with her faith. She didn't know the how that this situation was going to be handled, but she did know who could handle it. She didn't know what needed to be done, but she knew that Jesus knew what needed to be done. She knew that whatever he said, that was what would go. That is what needed to happen. Whatever he said, she would follow, and she encouraged others to follow. So as simple as this thought is today, I want to encourage you to be that faith-filled, be that determined, be that bold in the way that you know Jesus Christ. So bold, so faith-filled that even if God says, "Not yet, I'm not ready to perform that miracle yet," you say, "But I know who you are, and I have a need right now." You can move the needle on God's divine plan when you know him intimately, when you spend time with him daily, when you know him beyond a casual acquaintance situation. Tell people that Jesus is the answer to everything, big and small. Big and small. I believe personally that no matter what the need was at this wedding, no matter what need had arisen, Mary would have had this same response. If someone had fallen dead, if someone had fallen ill, and even to this wine being absent at this moment, Mary would have looked at them and said, "He is the answer." And I want to live that kind of life. What an incredible moment for God to take into account something that seems so small to the rest of us, but was important to Mary, was important to her heart, to her family, to the need of the moment. And Jesus took care of it. Jesus took care of it. I imagine personally, this is not in the scripture, I imagine personally there was a little eye roll at his mother in there somewhere. But he then turns and tells the servants to fill the jars with water. And then they began to serve the most beautiful wine out of those jars, to save the reputation, to meet the need of the moment, and to meet the faith that Mary spoke in. Go and read John chapter 2 verses 1 through 12. And if no one has told you lately, you are loved, and you are cherished, and you are valuable. You have beautiful and tremendous worth, my sweet friend, and that worth is far above rubies. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you again soon. God bless you.